All right, stock market analysis and projections for the S&P 500. First, do read this important slide right over here, which gives you a good sense for how we approach our analysis. All right, stock market, S&P 500, short-term view of the S&P 500. Okay, so the last week we looked at the intermediate view. There's a lot of times that we put up charts that we mix it up. We put up the weekly, we do the NASDAQ and the S&P, or we just do the daily, as I'm going to do now in the S&P. And a lot of people say, well, you changed it. You know, you're not, this is different than when you said last week. I want you to be very careful and make sure that you understand the time frames that we're looking at, whether it is weekly or daily, whether we're looking at SPX or NASDAQ or SPY. So there's a lot of things that we look at. So please make sure that you have a good handle on what we're looking at before you start sending me comments. And yes, we do change our analysis now and then. We just move it over a little bit if the market tells us to do so. And I'll talk about that a little bit in just a moment. I'm going to switch this over from the gold chart over to SPX, the S&P 500. And what I want you to look at in here is this daily chart. And you can see what the cycle analysis tells us as we are looking at the daily chart and the rhythms in the market right in here. Essentially, that these are the cycle brackets on the bottom. These are not the cycles. These are just a guide for us to be able to see the energetic movements in the market and money flow. We also look at momentum conditions, support resistance levels, and what's very important is the shape of the individual cycles and where and if it breaks the previous cycle low. Like this one broke that cycle low right there, and it sent it down into the bottom of this period right here. This was a very bullish cycle with positive momentum, as you see the slim ribbon pointing upwards and these bullish signals coming from the slim ribbon PO, and that told you that this was a positive cycle. When you see the word swamp, that means that the energy from the longer time frames would not allow much of a correction. This is rare when it moves up only a few days, then breaks that cycle low, and then it says coming down again all the way to that cycle period. So as you see right in here, this was a very bullish cycle. Well, this is a very bullish cycle also. What I said was that the prospects of the following cycle being negative, like it was in here, are small. Why is that? Because the weekly cycle, the longer term patterns were correcting in here. In this case, the longer term patterns are rising and they are in positive momentum conditions, and the translation and configuration is positive and momentum positive. You could see this upward resumption signal with that arrow right on the bottom on the slim ribbon PO, and now we are only 2 days into this next rising phase. The problem is that it's moving up into what I think is a very thick resistance band. And it may actually have a pretty good problem getting up above this 4,200 area right now. Also, there's this area up right over here, which is right around that 4,300 area, and that is our target for 2023. But you can see by our short-term analysis in here, I don't think that's going to come right now. And the reason for that is because the FEZ and the Russell have troughs that are coming out over here in late May or early June. What that says to me is that this cycle right over here is likely to be corrective and get below this cycle low at 40, 49, 35, but not yet. There's still time for this to be rising, and we can see that the market is still strong after gaining some 80 points right in here on Thursday. Now today, after being weak early in the day, the buyers are coming in, and right now in the late morning period as we come to midday, the stock market is strong again with the S&P 500 up 21. This is only 2 days into this rally. You saw this was a 2 or 3 day peak right over here. You might be saying, well, that could happen again. This was in a period of negative momentum for the weekly when it was correcting. This is in a period of positive momentum for the weekly where it is rising. And that's why I don't expect anything like that. More like it will move up in here, down again, up again, as it follows the minor cycle patterns in here. That's why we have this peak out over here time-wise, sometime out in the middle of May, and then this sharper declining period here towards late May or early June. And then after that, well, this is only supposed to be a short-term view, but after that would be the move up towards the high for the year that we're looking at. For the short term, we're looking for a rally to stall up in here, somewhere below or around the 4,200 level, then start to correct down in here. We'll be watching this support right over there. Let me just get this little closer view so that you can see where those are. That cycle low right over there that occurred 3 days ago, 40, 49.35. A breakdown to that level would be negative. It would say that this cycle is underway on the downside. Until that happens, everything is rising. Daily momentum rising, slim ribbon PO giving you bullish signals, weekly momentum rising, getting support right over here, and the configuration as very bullish as it only had this minor decline. We actually looked for it to decline a little earlier, but it got one more lift in here, and then came the 5-6 day decline that we were looking for, like had over here. But this much more shallow because it is so much stronger. So that strength, this configuration that we have in here on this cycle says higher prices, and that's what we have believed. And that's what we think we're going to get. Again, we think we're going to stop under 4,200 in this move. We think it will chop around in here and then correct down into that May time frame, and then sometime out mid-June, maybe through August or September, another upward impulse is likely. Well, that's a bigger view than I thought I was going to bring you, but I thought that was important. That is the stock market, SPX. I hope that was absolutely fascinating information to you, because I want you to be illuminated by our work, and then you will be able to be far more successful. Please go to askSlim.com and subscribe. If you're new, become a level 2 member. Get our full video library, including FutureSpeak, every week. On YouTube, subscribe to that channel. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. Watch the member videos in the playlist and past shows. On Twitter, follow us at askSlim. And any questions you have on everything I just showed you right here, or anything about our offerings of education and analysis, please do write to Matt at askSlim.com.